Ladies and gentlemen, I'm only going to talk to you just for a minute or so this evening because I have some very sad news for all of you. I have some very sad news for all of you, and I think sad news for all of our fellow citizens and people who love peace all over the world. And that is that Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight.
Kite flying time in Tibet. Children eating mooncakes, jumping and laughing. Wild plum trees encircle Pueblo boy's home. In the spring they bloom. When he goes hunting, he comes back with a plum blossom hat.
Tell me, did I see you long ago on a mesa in Taos, bare feet stomping cut straw into a mud pit? Was that you, turning the adobe bricks to harden in the sun and throwing rocks off the dirt road to strengthen your body for childbirth? Was it you? Did you know that young woman, her belly rounded with pregnancy, her heart astonished with the vast beauty of the Taos sky, the sweet smell of wet earth, and the promises of love? Did you know her? I mean the one whose mouth released laughter with each turn of the crank as she ground wheat into flour and baked small loaves of bread in a wood-burning stove she bought for $25. That one. And is it true that that was the first and only stove she ever fell in love with? Did you break off chunks of hot bread while dipping it in bean juice and dreaming of butter? Was it you, draping cloth diapers on the sagebrush to dry in the hot sun, breastfeeding a baby and irrigating rows of beans and corn? Did you know that girl from Brooklyn? I mean the one who thought homes made of mud would melt in the rain. The one who said, "Don't tease me with stories of corn that grow in shades of red and blue." 50 years later, can you recall her, smile down the years and whisper, "Everything will be more challenging, beautiful, and surprising than you can imagine"? 50 years later, your face seasoned by the sun and wind and weather of Taos, can you say yes, yes, I remember her well?
We are here, off the beaten path, living in the foothills beneath Tres Orejas. We are the hippies who never left. We painted our VW buses the colors of the rainbow. We are dreamers living off the grid, keeping at bay the artificial radiation that consumes the lives of others. We harness the sun and wind for energy. We are Buddhists who greet each morning with Om and our neighbors with Namaste. We are stargazers who have come here to look up at the galaxies where there is zero light pollution. We are whirling dervishes, mystical poets who can recite from memory the works of Rumi. We are pagans who collect sage, then tie it into a bundle with string to smudge our homes. We are leery of the government and read Ginsberg's America by the campfire. We are out here under the mountains with 3 ears, willing to be called oddballs, though we know war and greed are truly odd. We are fascinated by fish and reptiles who have a third parietal eye, by the cat discovered in Norfolk, Virginia with 3 ears, who is compared to Dr. Spock and Captain Kirk. We have migrated here off the beaten path, all our ears tuned to the hum of the universe. Our third eye open to the sun each morning, the shadows that turn our mountain blue in evening. We believe in the transmigration of souls and the journeys that led us here.
Gurgling, submerged in a vat of cloud juice, I emerged, timeless, projected inside a golden radio. Riding the bull, studied as goddess, I flaunted a wonderment so clutch it fluttered the haunting trilogy of thought, earth, and wisdom. Holding this vision of Taos, I got felt in the forest, held in the meadow, brushed on the flower, and yes, stepped into our power. Embodied circle, regurgle that time I rebubbled you, and in this short-term snow globe our eyes met, held in stutter. For the precipice of union was occasionally too illuminated to bear. Because you see, my dear, I care. You, your life, I am you, you are me, we are all together. You are my wife, my mother earth, you are my life, my brother. I'll love you forever, and just as a walrus struggles in this, I too struggle to grasp the immensity of our bond. So do go on about the intertwined nature of our relationship to the land.
On the very night I returned from a poetry workshop in Taos, I dream I'm in my kitchen on the ranch, and the floor before me opens. I stare down into an iodine sea. Fish, lit like lanterns, rise, break surface, mouths agape. Deep fish glint. A car-sized carp rises, drifts back down into ink. A big idea, forgotten. Years ago, I dreamed my home floated off on fresh water. That flood because I'd fallen in love with the 1,000,000 colors. All gently here, lights, garments. Words now are bad boys and girls, linked to the liminal, iambic brain, slippery, murky undertows, fishy fallen angels. Da, niet. Translation, please. I understand ontogeny, but can I really call back gills, webbed feet, and paddle hands? Safely dive my deep voice, indulge again this curious, busted old heart. The dreaming sea of words is on fire right under my house.
Now, every kernel germinated is a good Friday of possible rebirth. Hope reborn, revealing the perfect wrinkled humor of our fragility. Now,
Deconstructed naked sense chafe me, solaced intrigue, weight of tonguing me centrifugal, and sometimes duped by this heft of you. Your dermis, an ode for the humbled spine, like stalks rising to the great dawn's sky. Among the thousand proclamations passing through mountain air in Taos September flame, truly, truly, pray me. You chant me, seize me, and try to say, it is time for autumn and maize, and please use spare words.
Blowing weed near the border, and driving 80 like everybody else. Plenty pecans for miles, cops everywhere. Do not stop on highway, the sign says. Sudden chain link, skid marks on both sides, a lone inspection station, the orange cone lined border checkpoint. Quick, stash the pipe, open all the windows, flap the air. Could I have been seen through the sunroof as I swept under that steel tower on an empty stretch? How you doing today, ma'am? You a citizen of the United States? I nod, try not to exhale. Thank you, he smiles, waving, and I slide on by. Close the windows, retrieve the weed, fire it up. They should really color code those towers. Hard to tell, cell phone or spy? The snoops should say, in giant red letters, this is a big I. You are being watched. And if that creeps you out, then go back to where you call home. And if it doesn't, then you've already eaten the fruit and all hope is lost. Or if that creeps you out, but you suffer it anyway, then welcome. We were once hungry like you. Got any pot?
All We Carried, with homage to various songwriters. Very, very frightening to see neighbor boy Harvey Whitman carrying a mortar shell on each shoulder, chest deep in the Mekong River, staring straight into the lens eyes of a life photographer. Lost before the issue hit the stands. Full page, black and white, 1969. Dead Soldier, Delta Blues. We gotta get out of this place. 45s dropped into black vinyl stacks as brothers maneuvered toy soldiers across bedroom floor battlefields, until they too became sergeanted and Navy SEALed, bound for Vietnam. We couldn't get no satisfaction until somebody said, "You've got a friend." And all we were saying is give peace a chance, and we shall overcome someday. Because we weren't going to let nobody turn us around, turn us around. Actions are only true possessions. And the tunes we carried, they carried all of us and all we had to carry. So ring the bells that still can ring, our salve of imperfect offering, and gimme, gimme good lovin' if it's the last thing we ever do.
Migration. Desert sand made moist by low cloud, scraping the mesa. Scattered elk tracks. A last migration preserved in petrified mud. Rise as if fresh. A triad of sandhill cranes spiraling upward, aloft on hollow bones, search for updrafts that will deliver them to their wintering grounds. Mothering mountain across the cracked flat, cradles Los Alamos, fat man and little boy imagined into being, are sons, extraordinary inventiveness coupled with ruthlessness, delivered. A passing Cooper's hawk comes to rest on the neighbor's fence post, surveils for rabbits and rats. Caution tape yellow eyes flash. Hounds snarl at this brutal bird of prey, but cannot dislodge its talons. Desert sand made a triad of sandhill cranes, moist by low clouds spiraling upward, scraping the mesa. Aloft on scattered elk tracks, hollow bones, a last migration preserved, search for updrafts in petrified mud, deliver them, rise as if fresh to their wintering grounds. Mothering mountain, a passing Cooper's hawk across the cracked flat, comes to rest on the neighbor's fence post, cradles Los Alamos, surveils for rabbits and rats. Fat man and little boy, caution tape yellow eyes, imagined into being. Our sons flash. Hounds snarl at extraordinary inventiveness. This brutal bird of prey, coupled with ruthlessness, delivered, but cannot dislodge its talons.
Crouching Indian, Taos, blue sky, polish squeezed from tubes uncapped in Paris salons. In black and white photos, a city artist displays teeth, breathes aspen color, paints adobe curbs and native figures clutching blankets. Easel at attention, brush and palette full, he calls upon a muse to render a pleasing balance of art and sales. For 25 cents, an Indian model crouches, wearing buckskin leggings, sometimes with beige thighs bare. In full-color railroad posters, enticing travelers to Santa Fe, the Indian folds himself, thighs touching calves. Come to the southwest and see, a noble savage sips from a water jug. A romantic primitive woos a wooden flute. A mystic shaman burns ceremonial sweetgrass. Come see the red man strike fire, plant corn, coil pottery, cook chili. Come see, touch, poke. Declare to the non-smiling face, my grandmother was an Indian too. Buy a small clay pot, a beaded trinket, a multicolored headdress, a rubber hatchet. Let everyone know you met a real Indian. A body not red, but brown.
The fountain of youth pours through cold water tap in New Buffalo's kitchen, once a vessel holding a dream to counter a culture of greed, consumerism, and war. Decades later, I visit that kitchen. Cold water on tongue explodes memories of young urban dropouts at home with dirt floors, kerosene lamps, outhouses, chopping wood, planting, milking, building, joyfully riding in back of pickup trucks. Elements are here: earth, wind, water, fire. Hard-packed Scrabble on mesa matches my sunburnt, freckled, vein-popping hand, pressed against rock, thistle, cacti. Spring winds comb cobwebs from hibernating minds. Friendly fires center us on winter nights, inspiring dance, gossip, baking, Chilean beans bubbling on stove. Uninvited fire transforms Pueblo walls into char and embers, revealing recently slain deer, cooked to perfection, succulent. Celebrate! Revelers lost a home but survived. Rebuild! Pueblo elders taught us water is life. We emulated them, turned mud and straw into walls, irrigated fields with ancient acequias, embraced pageantry, ceremony, ritual, and prayer. Mother's Day Peyote Circle fills me with longing for mine. She navigates New York City subway in darkness, cannot see indescribable sunrises, sunsets, clouds sweeping across mesas and plains, walking rain. Ingathering of urban dropouts learn to survive the high desert, love the taste of sweet, cold water flowing through New Buffalo kitchen tap, quenching and reassuring amidst conflicting threads all around. The elder that I am flies the flag of blue earth floating in space, an image gift to humanity from astronauts who discovered what counterculture already knew. We are all one tribe.
We used to round dance in the summer at the Pueblo with all God's children. They came from all directions and in all colors, shapes, and sizes. And we would hold hands dancing round and round to the big drum beat. How do you do it? It's not hard. Just step aside and let the heartbeat of the drum beat with yours. Moving gently, holding on to the drum beat. Footsteps of life. We haven't opened ourselves to that for a long time now. That old drum is hidden away in some ivory tower, waiting for us to be human again. Where have the hippies gone to look for Jesus at now? I wanted to sell flowers like the Moonies, and Mama laughed. There's a round dance tonight in another dimension.
Into the earth together. Digging into the earth together, sun on our naked bodies, we shed our city clothes of East Coast formalities and have submerged into the waters gifted by Taos mountain streams. We plant new seeds of ourselves, growing into the unknown, not alone, rather with commune camaraderie. To be, to love, to sing, peace for all, to dance with brothers and sisters, with all the four-leggeds, with all the winged ones. A sacred Taos communion, joining the past with the present, breaking down the walls of separation. We move toward the age of Aquarius while digging into the earth together.
Atoic
Elysian sonnet, an homage. You are this wild circle, dancing, laughing. Half-century ago, yes, 'twas you all. Intergalactic memory whirl, twirling, regurgling on this pearl. Long-term turtle. High flying fish mind gives a deep dark dive. Recede peace, recedes war, risen Zen spine. Hashtag weeds obsolete cop, now it's crop. Somnus blood plain, once twin, terrors warred upon. Compassionate waters gather high on. Seekers beckoned quite still towards Taos' own. Hip hearts response to life's primal dismay. All hope's chi sings gratitude's gentle sway. Clouds, the only wishbone up in the sky. Each being on a spectrum of love and light.